Hello and welcome to Adventures in Venueland, an EVMC podcast. Join us for this all-access pass backstage and behind the scenes with some of the brightest minds that cross the scope of the live event industry. I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. We'll introduce you to incredible guests who journey with us as we dive deep into the world of venues, tours, festivals, and everything in between. Grab your laminate and meet us in Venueland.
Today's adventure takes us to Wichita, Kansas. And have you ever thought, hey, I'd like to go try a new job somewhere else, but what's it like to go someplace and not know anybody when you get there? Have you ever thought, hey, I enjoy this marketing business, but I should get into booking? Well, today's guest has a great story about how she's gone from being a leader in live event marketing to taking on the world of booking and finding success in both. She's the director of booking and marketing at Intrust Bank Arena. Please welcome Christine Pileckas. Christine, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, so let's get into it right away. Wichita, Kansas. Intrust, tell us about the venue and what you guys are doing out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We are a 15,000 seat venue in Wichita, Kansas. A lot of people have never heard of Wichita, including myself, before I took a leap of faith to move out here 15 years ago. I actually just celebrated my 15-year anniversary on November 1st.
Congrats.
So,
This is my 15-year anniversary at my venue too. So yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, so had never heard of it. A lot of people think Kansas and they just immediately think Kansas City. So Wichita is actually the largest city in the state of Kansas, believe it or not, because Kansas City predominantly lies on the Missouri side.
Sure.
So yeah, we pride ourselves on being kind of the elite venue in Kansas. But we do a ton of stuff. We know what kind of all the other arenas are doing. We've got concerts, family shows. We have an ECHL hockey tenant. And then try to get, a smattering of their sporting events here and there. So it's been a fun ride so far.
And you guys are what, just recently even the one of the top 20 busiest arenas in the world of your size.
Yeah, so I love that they categorize that now. So we're not competing with all the, the big wigs, but yeah, we stay pretty busy for a venue our size, and especially in a market size for us. And I like to say that we kind of fight for every single show, which we do, and so it makes it even better when we finally confirm those shows and they land, and we're able to say, hey, look at the entertainment we're bringing to Wichita, Kansas. And one of the things that helps us do that is Kansas is very spread out. So being the largest city, we have outer lying markets that are driving in, and we're the hub for entertainment, for dining, for shopping, so all of that. So when we can land a big show, people come and make an entire weekend out of it. And not just do we see success from that, but all of our local businesses and hoteliers see it as well. So it's kind of a big community thing here for us.
You mentioned kind of the size of the city and whatnot, but for people maybe less familiar with Kansas as a whole, where is Wichita sort of in that? And do you find that, like, from a routing side, are people usually coming from one city going towards another? Like, are you kind of a connector to Colorado or to somewhere else, or does it kind of come from every direction?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're South Central. We're kind of equal distance from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, and Kansas City. They're all, somewhere just shy of the 3-hour mark. So yeah, from a touring perspective, we think it's definitely to our advantage to be in the middle of the country. We like to say Wichita's the heart of the country, but you have to get from A to B. And so how do you do that? If you're doing your tours on the East Coast and then you got to switch to West, you've got to go through. So that's definitely an angle we pitch a lot, but very routable with all those markets. And so it definitely helps. It's a long haul to get from, maybe Oklahoma City to Kansas City. So we're a great stop through, or from Denver to, Rogers, Arkansas. So you've got to get from A to B. And so we always raise our hand and say, hey, why not us?
It does feel like you all, which I love, and I've seen it from, back of house clings and artist gifts you all have done, but the whole, you lean into the Oz aspect, the follow the yellow brick road, the Kansas, which seems like, kind of a fun kind of magical way, and probably what a lot of artists, maybe if they don't know anything about Kansas, they probably think of, Wizard of Oz first. And also very timely because right, we've got a new Wicked movie coming out. We've got the Wizard of Oz at Sphere. Is that something that you all have kind of really had a lot of fun with? It seems and kind of embraced.
Yeah, so we definitely are delicate with it because it's something we don't want to overdo, but it is a really cool angle. So we've had a mural up backstage for years, and we actually just kind of refreshed it this year for our 15-year anniversary. But it says it's not New York, it's not LA. Welcome to the land of Oz, and it's kind of that Wizard of Oz scene where they're going to the castle, but it ends at a picture of our venue.
No.
Love it.
And then yeah, and then about 5 years ago for our 10-year anniversary, we had George Strait, and he was kind of the kickoff to our concert series for that. And Messina Group let us, brand the show how we wanted, and so it was George Strait straight to Oz. And as
Nice.
part of that show, we added a yellow brick road coming off of the mural all through the backstage hallway that leads
Oh,
to the VOM that the artist usually their path to the stage.
Great.
And so it's really fun. And I mean, even our staff loves it. And it's one of our few nods to it. Cause like I said, we try to be very gentle of not overdoing it, but the number of times we get tagged in posts of touring personnel or artists like skipping on the yellow brick road and
Yeah,
the
right.
Wizard of Oz theme music, it just, you can't pay for that.
Yeah,
So just the organic excitement, and then free promotion of our venue that it creates is really cool. And, they're in a different city every day. And we've heard comments of they start walking on the yellow brick road and they're like, yellow brick road, this is really cool. And then they're like, a light bulb goes off. Oh my gosh, we're in Kansas. And it just
right.
pieces it together. So just to create those moments for them, when they're going from city to city, just leaning into, like you said, something that is unique to us. No other building can really add a yellow brick road and it truly means something in their venue. So it's been really fun. We've had to replace it a few times, gets a lot of wear and tear with the road cases or the hockey
Sure,
players
sure.
walking over it, but it's well worth it. And it's to me, it's one of our favorite places in the venue.
so tell me a little about, what is unique about the venue itself.
Yeah, there's a few things that are really unique about our venue. And so Wichita's the aviation capital of the world. A lot of the aviation businesses got their start here, still have their headquarters here, employ thousands of people. We build a ton of aircraft of all varieties. So the south side of our building, which faces the south side where all the aviation companies are, is a nod to that. And we have a very clean white limestone look that resonates with the aviation industry. And then on the north side of our building, which faces our downtown area, which we call Old Town, that has a lot of brick areas, that whole side of the building, like the walls and everything is brick. So as you walk around the venue in a circle, the whole entire look and feel changes at some point, which I think is very unique. And it's cool to talk about on tours, or even when tours are in the building and we walk them around and highlight that. They're like, wow, that's so cool. Yeah, you notice a distinct change from this point to this point as you're walking around it.
That's awesome.
When you talked about celebrating your 15th anniversary. So talking about that change from being the new kid on the block to being, celebrating 10 to celebrating 15 and kind of, what you guys are doing to, keep the building up to date here.
Absolutely, yeah. We have a great client. We're owned by the county, Sedgwick County. They continually reinvest in our building. So we get compliments every time a tour's in the building of how old are you guys? Wow, it looks like you guys are in your first 5 years versus 15. So we just continue to reinvest, create what we call destination spaces. We've got a really cool guitar bar on our concourse. So all the artists that come through,
Cool.
we, take a guitar back there, ask them to autograph them. Most of them do, but just seeing the fans engage with that on the concourse and finding their favorite artists and taking a picture with themselves in front of the guitar, and then just figuring out how to create that secondary experience outside of, the experience of just buying your ticket and coming to the show. And it's been really fun because I think in our industry, we've all kind of gotten to this like internal battle of who can one up each other of,
I don't know what you're talking about. We don't. I don't.
well, you brought in goats, so we're going to bring in a reindeer,
Right,
or,
exactly.
so it's just finding
You
those.
just spoke that into existence, and I bet we will see someone from Toronto fly in reindeer from the North Pole or something next
Well,
month. It's
just
going to happen.
sneak peek. You've heard it here first, but we actually have living real reindeer in Wichita, Kansas, and they might make an appearance at some of our upcoming holiday winter shows.
Well, look at you. All right. That's awesome. You got to find a little faux light you can put on the tip of one
Yes, we do.
of them.
Talk to me about that Sedgwick County management model of being that public private partnership. How's that work for you guys?
Yeah, they are great partners. They truly, and I don't just say that in fear that they might listen to the podcast, but they've been so great, not only in reinvesting in the building, but they recognize that they hire a management company for a reason, to come in and manage the venue on their behalf, and they trust us with everything. You know, if we make a case for what we need or why we need or why we're doing something, they wholeheartedly have our back. So they just truly been great partners in that regard for us.
Now, your role, you're obviously over booking and marketing. What's your kind of day to day like on that? I know we kind of talked about before we started recording, but that's a little bit of a unique thing where you've got one foot in each area, and not a lot of venues have that. And I'm sure there's some advantages to that, maybe huge advantages to that, maybe some disadvantages, but it's got to be very interesting. Like, what's yours a day in the life of Christine like?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think like a lot of us, you can have your to-do list and then, you come in and you get one email at 9:05 and you're like, well, that to-do list is out the window because this promoter now needs us. But yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, I oversee the marketing department, and I'm lucky to have a great team, especially on the marketing side. So I can kind of just oversee and be there for support on that side. And then my day to day is the majority of it these days is booking. So, like I said, being Wichita, we're the heart of the country, but, we're not an A market, or we're not what we call a must play market. So we're fighting for everything out there. So every day is figuring out, how do I build this relationship? How do I enhance it? We heard this show is touring. How can we get creative on why it makes sense here? So we always try to pitch the why, and not just raise your hand and ask for the show, but say, hey, this is why we want the show. This is why it's going to do well here. So yeah, and I'm still very immersed in marketing, but a lot of it is booking. But the good thing is, like you said, they go very hand in hand. So when I originally raised my hand and said, "Hey, I'd love a new challenge. I'd love to help my GM start to book, throw more support at this," they really go hand in hand, because, like I said, you're going after a show. You need your marketers to tell you, why does this work here? What are the comparisons? What shows have we had in this genre that makes sense? Can you come up with a creative pitch deck to help us send to the promoter and agent? So every day is definitely different, which is what I always tell people why I love my job so much, and it doesn't feel like a job, because you don't come in and do the same thing every day. But yeah, it's a lot of booking, relationship building, talking to all the promoters and agents out there, and then helping the marketing team just get creative of how can we continue to sell tickets for certain shows. And then obviously the show day stuff, coming up with those creative backstage experiences. What are we doing not only for our guests front of house, but our guests back of house, to make them feel welcome and special when they're in our city, and let them know we appreciate them, including Wichita and the touring, and making a stop here at our building.
It may make a ton of sense, honestly, because I think often there's this rub or this challenge in different venues where you've got booking people, you got marketing people. Hopefully, they're talking to each other. They're not always talking to each other as much as they like. And sometimes there's this thing of, oh, there's no bad bookings, there's just bad marketing, or, there's no bad marketing, there's just bad booking. And I think having maybe this person that's sort of like up at the top that can be the peacekeeper and make sure that they're also like working hand in hand, has got to be a huge advantage. I think that's a great asset to have them, married so closely together.
Yeah, we always laugh when we get, emails, whether it's from, corporate on our company side, or a booker or a marketer with a promoter. But when they say, get with your booking team and work together on this, or it comes to the booker and says, get with your marketer and work together on this, we always chuckle, because I'm like, well, we're both, so that makes it convenient.
What does your team look like? Do you still have a full marketing team that you work with? Is there anybody else assisting you on booking?
Yeah. So when we're fully staffed,
I get
yes,
that.
we have, there's myself, and then I have a senior marketing and booking manager. And then under her are two marketing managers. So the marketing managers really are the day-to-day event marketers, working with the promoters, running point on the shows. And then our senior marketing and booking manager, oversees them the most, provides the most support, and then assists me a ton on the booking side. And we kind of have a system of how we split up the booking, whether it's based on what promoter we're working with or just who has the best relationship. And so it's a really nice system. It definitely helps to have a backup and not feel like you're doing it all on yourself. So yeah, that's the team when it's fully staffed.
Yeah, I get that. Hey, so, what percentage of your time would you say is spent on marketing versus what percentage of time is spent on booking?
Sure. Yeah, I would say in my position right now, it's probably about 75-25, 75 booking and 25 marketing. The unique part is we have another building in town, a performing arts center and a smaller theater that my senior marketing and booking manager and I also book. So
Of
it's a
course.
same umbrella of our
Yeah.
company. So we get pulled in a few directions, but yeah, I would say it's predominantly booking.
So I remember having dinner with you. I can't remember what city it was, but I remember you saying, "Hey, I think I'm going to get into this booking stuff, and I'm making this change." And I remember thinking, "Are what is everything okay?" What was the draw? But seriously, there are a lot of people out there listening right now who are marketing who've thought about getting into booking. So talk to me about what it was like to make that change and what was your biggest misconception about going into booking?
Sure. Yeah, I'm big on I need to feel like I'm being challenged to, I guess, put out my best work output. And so having done marketing for my whole career, interned at a venue in college, they hired me right out of college, worked there for a couple of years, and then, made the jump out here to Wichita, Kansas in the marketing role. I just you kind of got to that point where you're like, okay, I've done everything. I can do it by muscle memory. I need something that's really going to challenge me. And so at the time, my general manager was the only one booking the arena, and he's tasked with a million other things as the general manager. And so I had just kind of raised my hand and I said, hey, this looks like a new learning opportunity for me, a new challenge. I think I can support you and help be an asset to drive more shows. But I think the biggest misconception is people think you just answer the phone and say, oh yeah, Justin Timberlake wants December 3rd, no problem. Book it. We're good to go. But you're really out there. Your booking is honestly more of a sales position. You're selling your city, you're selling your venue, you're selling your team on how they're going to support it. Your team on how they're going to, advance with you and how they're going to treat you day of show. So I think that's the biggest misconception. Booking has a very, sexy appeal about it. When people look at it that aren't in those roles or aren't in those departments. But there's a lot more, heavy lifting that goes into it to finally confirm a show with a promoter or an agent. It doesn't, they sometimes you get a gift and they fall into your lap and you haven't had to do anything for them, And again, if you're in those must play major markets, maybe there's a little less work. But, for a lot of us markets, more and more venues are being built and popping up, and the competition is getting stronger. And people, have a million options of where they can route and play their shows. So I think the misconception is just how much legwork goes into it until the rest of the staff finally sees, oh, we're getting Weird Al or oh, we're getting Journey, but they don't see the life cycle behind that of what went into
Sure.
finally landing and confirming that show.
I'm going to flip that question on its head a little. Now that you're in booking, what do you think booking people should know more about marketing? Is there something that you feel like, now obviously you kind of have your own experience coming from marketing, so you're like, there's not really any questions, but like, do you think there's a preconception from the booking side of marketing that maybe they don't, other venues, not yours, don't maybe understand like they should?
Yeah, I think, like I said, booking and marketing definitely go hand in hand. So I think it's equally as important, as the booker, if you're going to sell your venue and sell your market and pitch the why, you have to be almost just as well versed in your market as the marketers are. Do you have radio stations that play this format of music of a show that you're trying to get? What is your population? What's the medium income? Like, what's the price point that's going to break people's banks so that they're going to be able to say, yeah, let me buy a ticket. So booking and marketing, bookers definitely have to be marketers and put on that hat and know all that information, especially if you're, a promoter just calls you and say, hey, I heard you want the show and it's routing. I'm not really sure about your market. We're on the fence. You have to be just as knowledgeable to be armed with that information to be able to give the why of why it's going to work in your market.
Yeah.
You were, am I right? You were a 30 under 30, one of those folks from what I'm getting to is where does your drive come from? Where did that start for you?
I think I was raised by really strong parents and really strong family, and the work ethic was just kind of ingrained into me from a really young start. And so I think that just poured over, when you graduate college and you're in the big world and now it's time to get a full-time job. It just kind of poured over into that. And my personality is one that I don't need the accolades, and they definitely make me a little uncomfortable. I don't like being in the spotlight.
Good thing
But
you're on a podcast.
Welcome to where you're uncomfortable.
so, but
It's okay. No one listens to us, so it's kidding.
but yeah, I think the drive for me mostly just comes from the challenge of it all. Like whether it's on the booking side, like I said, of we could be chasing a show for years. A good example, we have Jonas Brothers coming up in December. We've been chasing them since the year the building opened 15 years ago, and this will be the first time we're getting them. And so my drive just comes from that challenge of continuing to try to win the battles and just get small wins for our venue and our city here. And then same on the marketing side, once we land the show, the challenge of how do we sell as many tickets to make this, you want every show to be a sellout. We all know not every show is built to be a sellout. So what is that number that makes everyone happy and makes the show be called a success? So the challenge of getting it there and getting it to the finish line.
Yeah, it does feel like you kind of like pushing yourself in a good way. I mean, I relate. I think it's great. It's like even if there isn't a challenge, I will find a way to make it a challenge for myself because that will get me there. And sometimes it's like a number for tickets, or sometimes it's just some sort of crazy idea or something. But
Yeah.
I think that's a good quality to have in live
Yeah.
events.
Well, I do Orange Theory as my method of physical activity and working out. And if you're familiar with the Orange Theory brand or their workout, it definitely pushes you every single day in that workout. So yeah.
Hey, speaking of pushing it, I know you guys like to have pretty well known for your stellar social media, and you've been pretty up there in the social media power rankings, right? Talk to me about why that's important for you and kind of your philosophy behind the social media for the venue.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best. Obviously, we're doing paid social these days more and more, but it's one of the best organic ways to get to fans who have voluntarily said they like your brand, they like what you're doing, they want to see your content. And so figuring out how to give them the best content that's exciting for them and not just posting the ad and, making a hard pitch for sales, but what do these fans not get to see that we do that we kind of take for granted? The Yellow Brick Road isn't a front of house thing. So fans don't get to walk on that when they're in the venue. So how do we take things like we've done and turn that into content and just make it really engaging and feel like we're giving them a glimpse into, a world that for them is their outlet, and it's their escape, from real life for a little bit and for them to come and enjoy it. So we love, my senior marketing and booking manager who handles our social now day to day, very similar to me in work ethic and drive, and just she constantly challenges herself with how can I get creative on social and what can I do on this to put it on. And obviously have a lot of peers and people that we look up into the industry, and maybe we borrow an idea here and there from what we've seen
Sure.
other venues
That's
do.
good marketing. You
Yeah,
want to, yeah, there's nothing wrong. You doing it, your fans in Wichita are going to have no idea that someone in wherever, New York or whatever, Seattle is also doing that because they're not following it. So it's like, take that idea, reinvent it, make it your own.
exactly.
Let me take you back to 2004. It's your first day on campus there at Westchester University of Pennsylvania. Did you know you were going into marketing? Did you know you were going into the live event business?
Had no idea. I had a very different career path mapped out for myself. So I love sports. I'm an athlete, played sports my whole life. I wanted to work in sports and I wanted to work directly with athletes. And so I originally wanted to be some kind of physical therapist. And the dream was to eventually do it for a professional team. So 2004, I walked in as a biology major and
Hey, fellow biology major, let's
No,
go.
seriously, Paul, you too?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Love it. So that lasted one semester. The
Also similar.
I was like, wow, this is a lot of science classes and a lot of 3-hour labs. And I really want to be going out, Thirsty Thursday with my friends on a Thursday night in freshman year. Hopefully my mom doesn't listen to this. But so yeah, so I talked, with my advisor. I just did some research and knowing that I still wanted to work in sports and that I felt like at the time, was pretty independent and business savvy. I said, maybe I'll switch to marketing and business. So I did that with the goal of still working in sports. And my senior year is when I found an internship at a small venue in central New Jersey. And that was the first time my eyes opened to, wow, I can do sports, but there's so much more here. This is also concerts and family shows and trade shows and all that stuff. And I fell in love immediately. So I interned there for a semester and I knew this is so exciting. This is so fun. This is what I want to do. Was lucky enough they had a full-time position the month before I graduated. And so I graduated walking into a full-time job, which I feel very fortunate and lucky to have found that. But yeah,
What venue is this? Are they still around? Is it still the same
they
name?
they are, yeah. It's now called Cure Insurance Arena in Trenton, New Jersey. When I was there, it was Global Spectrum, so that dates me a little bit. But now I believe it's an OVG venue. But yeah, it's still there. I am still very dear friends with multiple people that I've met there and started my career with. We still keep in touch. We hang out at industry conferences. We talk on the phone. So it's a really special place to me.
While you were in college, you had a chance to do a internship overseas in London.
Yeah. Yep. I studied abroad in London for a semester. My marketing internship, unfortunately, wasn't with one of the major soccer teams over there in sports, but did have a couple marketing internships over there. And yeah, it was a great experience just to open your eyes to the rest of the world and do it while you're young and you can afford to. And well, thank you, student loans, for letting me up that experience.
You
But
can
yeah,
afford to quote.
but yeah, it was a great opportunity. I definitely think that's always a nice resume booster as well to put on there that you had that opportunity to not only study abroad and experience that but also get some real world experience in another country while you're over there too.
So, you get that job, you're working in Trenton, and, 9 months into it, you are given a promotion from a coordinator to a marketing manager. You mentioned your work ethic earlier. Talk to me about your work ethic and how you think that helped you kind of get that promotion.
Yeah, I think we always say at our
Talk about
venue.
yourself. You said you really love to do that. I could see you squirming. You're like, oh.
No,
I know I get that because I love to go on and promote stuff, but I'm terrible at self-promoting.
yeah, you always say, you're always working for the job you want and the next step. So,
Sure.
that job comes open and you've just been slacking it, but then you go into the interview and you expect you get that job and they've seen what you've been doing. So I always try to work every day like I'm working towards the job that I want or acting in a way that would fit with the job and that I want. And so I think I just was lucky enough to have time there as an intern. So they saw my work ethic as a very unpaid intern for academic credit,
Right.
driving, 45 minutes to this internship 3 times a week there and back. And so then, in that role, I think, again, I was just given more opportunity to take on more responsibilities. And then when the manager came open, again, they at that point were seeing my work ethic 5 days a week. And it's so much easier to promote from within. I love promoting from within on our side. Um, so yeah, I think that, actions speak volumes and are louder than words.
So how do you go from Trenton, New Jersey to Wichita, Kansas?
I love telling this story.
Well, first you get in a car and you fill up on gas.
Midwest.
A lot
It'll
of
take you a
gas.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So I again, like I said, I've a lot of the coworkers that I had there have turned into lifelong friends. And as you guys know, once you're in the industry, it can be pretty small. It's like a little bubble. Everybody knows everybody. You're tied to everybody in some form or way. So I had a friend there who was our box office manager at the time, and he was moving into a new role, and the person that was exiting was coming to Wichita, Kansas. And he just kind of put in a word. And if you ever need, someone at that venue, she's great. And she's looking for a bigger venue and the next step. And next thing you know, I'm driving to the Outer Banks for a family vacation with my mom asked me to drive with my grandmom so she didn't drive alone. And my phone rings and it's a 316 area code. Had no idea what 316 is, which is Wichita, by the way. So I didn't answer the phone. I had a voicemail. The voicemail was from our lovely HR manager saying that she had received my resume through a source and they had a position and would love to see if I was interested and talk to me about it. I immediately put it out of my head. I was like, Wichita, Kansas? I've never heard of it. No, thank you. So ended up, getting pushed by the person who had kind of put my name out there. Just call him back, just see what's up. So gave him a call, they liked me on the phone, wanted to fly me out. I still wasn't into it. Again, talked to friends for advice. They said, let him fly you out. So I flew out. Biggest thing I remember is the planes coming in for a landing, you can see as far as the eye can see.
Sure.
Which
Flat.
growing up in Pennsylvania in the Northeast, vastly different.
Yeah.
But fast forward, yeah, seeing the building, I think just sold me and blew me away. I was in a very, a much older arena, a smaller arena. So seeing this arena that was shiny and new, they were in their honeymoon year, they had just opened. Just, as a 23-year-old kid, that's what grabbed me. And I was like, okay, I think I could do this for a couple years and then
You're
I'll
like a
move
new
back east.
toy. This looks fun.
Yes.
Nothing makes you appreciate it better than coming from an older venue too, because you're like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a month later I was moving out here. My parents drove with me and I thought I would be here for 2 or 3 years and because I was in the mindset move around to move up and do it while I'm young and was lucky enough to continue to get promotions and new challenges here at the same venue without moving. So my foot is in my mouth and I said I'd be here for 2 years and just celebrated my 15-year anniversary.
Do I see a big five balloon behind you. I'm guessing there's a one next to that.
Yes. Yeah, I have a great team. They surprised me, celebrated or decorated the whole office out for the 15-year anniversary. And so yeah, it was really fun.
Well, work ethic is fun, and when you get to a new city, you can really dive right in. But talk to me about, because we kind of teased it at the beginning of the pod. What was it like moving to a city? Because in Trenton, you had those connections, you knew those people. Here you are, picking up, heading to a new city where you don't know almost
Yeah.
anyone, right? So
Probably
talking
don't know anyone
about
personally, but also don't know your reps and
yeah, the whole thing.
coworkers.
Talking
Yeah.
about that's a scary thing that holds a lot of people from making that change. So talking about how you dealt with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely, as the director at the time, who many know in the industry, Sarah Hurdle, she was the one who recruited me. And she had sent me an email kind of making her case on, trying to get me to say yes and come out. And she had said it takes a leap of faith. And so that's 100% what it was, a leap of faith, knowing that I wouldn't know a single person here. I didn't even know a single person at the building. So it was very scary. I'm very a homebody. I get homesick. I like to be able to drive and see my parents. So, lucky enough, I was young, and there is a lot of organizations here for young professionals or just young people in general to get involved with. So I just kind of threw myself into everything. I threw myself into the Young Professionals of Wichita group that planned, fun social outings and other events. And I met a ton of friends through that I'm still friends with to this day in Wichita. I, signed up for a young professional co-ed softball league and just got, put on a team with 10 other people I didn't know. That was another way to make friends. So it definitely took pushing myself out of my comfort zone. But because of that, I have so many friends here that I've met in those first few years that I'm so grateful for. And, they'll be lifelong friends.
Which probably also led to that 15 years, right? Like you
Yeah.
probably coming in expecting, oh, meet some people, but this might be a stepping stone. But then you ingrained in the community, and then now you're like, oh, it's no longer it doesn't feel as much like a stepping stone, right? You feel like you have a home there.
Absolutely, yeah, and the more time that goes on, that's what definitely makes it harder to leave and entertain opportunities in other cities. Of just, this is Wichita is my home now. I bought a house 3.5 years ago, and a ton of friends here. They invite me over for holidays if I'm not going back home, and so Wichita will always be home, even if I do, eventually take another step and leave. But it's a place I'll always come back to. It got me to where I am today, and it'll always have a special place in my heart.
How do you have talk to me about a little bit about work-life balance. I know that's always a challenge, and you talk about that drive that you've got to succeed. How are you making sure you got some time for Christine?
Sure. Yeah, I would definitely say in the earlier days, I was never concerned about that. I was like, yeah, I'll work 7 days a week. If we have a show on a weekend, not going to take off. And I thrived off of that. And again, not having built that life here yet, it was easy to do and just throw yourself into work. But 15 years, I'm getting a little older. It dates myself. So I lucky to have a GM that kind of preaches this down, so I'm able to preach it down to my team as well. But you have to take that time. You have to balance it out. It's not always going to balance out 100% if you got 3 events in one week, but we're not going to get the best output from people. You're not going to get the best output from me. I'm not going to get the best output from my team if you are just burned out and dragging and exhausted. And this is the last place you want to come, on a certain day. So we're very big on taking, what we call that comp time and balancing that out. So it's definitely nice to have that sort of culture here. And there's a lot of things, I love to do in my free time outside of here. So I take advantage of doing those on the comp days. I took up golfing a few years ago. So it's always fun to get out there on a weekday when the course is empty. But yeah, it's really important to me to take that and come back, recharge and refresh, and actually want to be here, and your team wants to be here and they feel recharged as well.
I mean, your Instagram account is the sun-kissed kid, which I mean that I think that tells you like visiting some beaches, getting outside, enjoying nature. I mean, you're kind of, challenging yourself to live up to that name, but I think that's great.
Yeah, very funny that I moved to a place that has no coast and is landlocked. So
That just means you're equal distance from all the coasts.
yep, exactly.
You
So
can go
yeah,
east or west.
yeah. Luckily, my parents retired in Tampa, Florida, and so I've got a beach vacation anytime I need to get away built
There
in
you
right
go.
there.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it was great hearing about you and your adventures. Before we let you go, I want to hit you with our fast five. It's just 5 quick questions, looking for your short, immediate response. First up, do you remember your very first concert?
And sync. Hershey Park Stadium. I was a freshman in high school.
Oh,
Who
nice.
was your favorite band member?
Oh,
Oh.
Justin,
Justin.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Joey's my favorite. So there you go.
Nice. I love
That
it.
makes a lot of sense, Dave.
How about do you have a favorite concert you've ever been to?
Oh gosh, that's always such a hard one. Favorite concert. I'm a huge Pink fan, and on her tour in the 2018-19 years, I went to it
Yeah,
in 3 different cities because she's a
it was
badass.
incredible. It
There
was
Yeah,
you go.
incredible.
love her.
You
Yeah.
mentioned being a golfer. If you could play any golf course in the world, what's one golf
Ooh.
course you'd love to play?
Um, what is it? Pebbles Beach?
Pebble
Pebble
Beach, yeah,
Beach. Yeah.
yeah.
Take me
Because
with
Long
you if you
Beach.
get that
Yeah.
invite.
I will take a
I'll meet
hundred
you
golf
there.
balls and lose all of them, but
Perfect.
I'll go just for the pictures.
What do you think the beach is made out of when they say pebbles? It's all golf balls.
As a booker, there's got to be one show that you're like, that's my bucket list show that I would love to be able to book. Who is that?
Yeah.
Who's that artist
Speak it
for
into
you?
existence.
Let's speak it out there into the world, manifest it.
Yeah, there's a few. At the current moment, I would say Post Malone.
Yeah. Okay.
Would love
Nice.
to get Posty here in Wichita. Speaking it
It'll
out.
happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Posty and Oz. It seems fit.
Yeah.
That seems fitting. That seems very fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question for you. What's your theme song? So there's a reality TV show all about you and living in the world of booking and marketing and all the stuff you do. What's the song that plays over the opening credits of the Christine show?
Yeah, Zach Brown band Toes, because it's about
Yes.
at the beach, toes in the
Nice.
water, ass in the sand.
Not a worry in the world. Cold beer in my hand.
Cold beer in my hand.
Hey, throw out any plugs there. People want to follow along with what you guys are doing on social. They're at the venue. Where can they find you guys? And then also, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, what's the best place for somebody to reach you?
Absolutely, yeah. The arena, we're pretty straightforward. You can find us on any social platform at Interest Bank Arena. And myself, I have a pretty unique last name. I think I know every Pileckas in the world. So Christine Pileckas on any of those social channels, and then you'll find the actual handle is the Sunkiss Kid. But yeah.
There you go. Hey, Chris, it was great catching up with you. Congratulations on your 15-year anniversary and everything you guys are doing out there in Wichita. It's just some really cool stuff that everybody should check out.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you having me, and it was great to catch up with both of you.
Yes, thanks for getting out of your comfort zone with us.
Got it.
And a big thanks for everybody listening to this episode of Adventures in Venueland. Remember, you can subscribe and find more episodes wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We do love your 5-star reviews because it helps other folks find us. Until the next adventure, I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. Thanks for listening, everyone. Let's follow the Yellow Brick Road. Follow, 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 follow. Adventures in Venueland is a side project of the Event and Venue Marketing Conference, a marketing conference that brings together diversified event and venue professionals to cultivate education, collaboration, and innovation for the growing sports and live entertainment industry. Find out more at eventvenuemarketing.com.
Audio editing and mixing by Camille Faulkner.
Design and digital advertising by Megan Ebeck.
Copywriting and publicity by Samantha Marker.
Guest booking and brand strategies by Paul Hooper.
Guest research by Dave Rettelberger.
Marketing strategies by Paul Hooper, Megan Ebeck, and Samantha Marker. Thanks for joining us. Until the next adventure.